Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Another episode of Trash Talk. I'm TJ O'Connor. With me, as always, Damian the Wolverine Hill, who I hate, by the way. And Trash Talk is brought to you, as always, by our sponsors, Valhalla Combat Sports Incorporated, Ink Shrinks Tattoo, Origin Wellness CBD, Spartan Martial Arts, James Clark Sports Psychology and Hypnosis Therapy, The Fighters, and my mom. Damian, I don't care how you're doing, but how are you doing?
Yeah, the people care how I'm doing, and to the people, I'm doing all right. TJ, I don't care, and actually the people don't care either. So why don't you just give us the rundown of the card? Oh, hold on. You said our sponsors. I think I was laughing through them. I can't remember.
Yeah, I said this bothers you. You were indulging in marijuana usage.
Okay. So tonight we're here to break down the amateur portion of the LFA 82 card that's going down at Mystic Lake Casino this Friday, tomorrow, and shit. TJ, would you do us the pleasure of giving us a rundown of the amateur portion of the card, sir?
Oh, I can definitely do that. Just a quick rundown. We got Aymar Hernandez versus Adamu Issa. Andre Sellers fighting Trevor Schultz. Steven Lesko is fighting Santos Verdinez. Princeton Cameron versus CJ motherfucking Hayes. Olivia Biscow versus Shannon Clark. Monatua Lemaire versus Josh Fleck. Wesley Schultz, Jackson McVeigh. And then the main event of the amateur portion of the card, Jordan Clark versus Nick Kazi.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Man.
I think that sums up the amateur portion of the card pretty well. I mean, it starts out with a bang. Between Aymar Hernandez and Adamu Issa. Aymar is a guy who's ranked highly, and I think he's number 5 in the 135 and under weight class. Made a big splash on the Minnesota scene with his fight last September at LFA, going against a top performer like Grant Boldwan. And Adamu is a teammate of Grant's, and I think he wants this one back. He's seen something in that fight, and I'm excited to see him because he's a real prospect, I feel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. And, man, another fight that I'm really excited about is Sellers versus Schultz.
Yeah.
I had to look down at the notes really quick for a second. But that's another fight that I'm excited for. Schultz training up at the Academy Elk River, and I know he's a really good ground opponent, but Sellers has been training his ground. He just got his blue belt as well, and has been training his boxing for a while. I'm really interested to see how this fight plays out. This is another really interesting good fight right off the bat for the amateur portion.
Yeah, 2 undefeated guys early in their careers, both guys 1-0. I mean, so far they've done exactly what you asked them to do. So give them a little step up in competition against another guy who's been successful in the cage. I feel like this is a great time for both guys. Talking to Andre, he's been putting in a lot of work. We didn't have a chance to speak with Trevor for this fight, but I can imagine he's only doing the same with this opportunity, and I'm expecting a really good fight.
Oh, yeah. And could you continue us down the card, sir?
Oh, yeah. Right after that, the next fight on paper that really drives me insane, just thinking about it, is Princeton Cameron versus CJ Hayes. Princeton's a guy who made his debut in Minneapolis, or at Canterbury, in December, and he made a statement. I feel like he had a really good performance, came from a very strong gym, obviously, and, did what he had to do. And fans of the show, the fans of Minnesota MMA, they know CJ Hayes. I mean, he's
Yeah.
a guy that in the fights he's been able to actually have has performed and performed at a high level. He's had a couple fights fall off, so I know he's very hungry, both literally and figuratively, leading up to this fight. And I'm excited to see both of these guys go because just knowing both these guys' personality, they're thriving on the fact of going against another top opponent and testing themselves at this level.
Yeah, and we know CJ is a very open and very vocal guy, but his opponent Princeton is not. He's been very mysterious. I've not been able to track him down for an interview, even though I've. Oh my God, I'm dying. The more I can't get one, the more I want it, and I really just can't wait to see what goes down Friday night. Just because, dude, I feel like we all know the mystique of Fedor and how great he was. So this kind of gets me excited. The fact that I don't know anything about him at all.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all we
Besides this fight,
yeah,
Grant.
we said all we have is his last
Yeah.
performance, and I mean, it was very impressive. Going up the card here, the second fight of Santos Berdinez out of Warriors Cove, very impressive in his first fight. So I'm excited to see him back against a game opponent like Steven Lesko. But the fight that we've been talking about for a while now, and I feel like every time LFA comes to Mystic, they always seem to find a way to set up one perfect women's fight. And I feel like number 1 ranked Olivia Biscow versus number 5 ranked Shannon Clark. I mean, that has fight. I mean, it could potentially take fight of the night on the amateur card easily. Both girls don't know how to stop. Their cardio is amazing. I mean, they both been playing up the striker versus grappler role, but I feel like they're both being a little gamesmanship. Like, I mean, like, don't let it fool you. Olivia is prepared to stand, and I feel like Shannon's prepared to go to the ground. So I'm really excited to see how this fight plays out.
I have the exact same feeling as you, sir. I'm just, oh my God, like this fight could potentially be the crowd shocker, the crowd pleaser. Um, I can't really explain it. You know, like both of these girls are very game and have made a few changes in their game since the last few fight. I mean, within their last few fights, and that's the one thing that I know is going to play a factor into this fight. And like you said, I feel like they've both been kind of playing as if they haven't made the improvements that we've clearly seen.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, don't let it fool you. These gals are going to be very prepared, and I'm excited to see how this fight plays out. Another style matchup that I think is very fun, and we had a chance to talk to both of these guys leading up to the fight, is Wesley Schultz out of Pura Vida going against Jackson McVeigh from Warriors Cove. I mean, the Minnesota fans are very familiar with Jackson. He made his debut last year, needed one round, one fight to win submission of the year. So, I mean, that goes to show you the level of groundwork he has. And he's going against a guy in Wesley who's a very good wrestler. I mean, his wrestling carried him all the way up to a college level, and then he used that to transition into MMA. Talking to both of these guys, they both like the idea of grappling. They really want to find out who the better grappler is, and shit, I do too. So I'm excited to see that. Or if it turns into kickbox, let it happen. These are two big guys.
Yeah, with Jackson being a brown belt and and Wesley being, I mean, a collegiate level wrestler. The thing is, when collegiate level wrestlers start doing jujitsu and they start trying to perfect their jujitsu, it's they have a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to the grappling. And it's just really, I'm really curious to see how it plays out, because I feel like, I mean, as much as we question a grappler that's a jiu-jitsu guy and a grappler that's a wrestler, and how that matches up and how it might lead up to a stand-up fight, I kind of feel like this fight is going to the ground no matter what. And I really hope it does, because that's what I want to see.
Same. And that leads us to the co-main event of the amateur portion. And this is, by definition, a crazy-ass fight. And I'm just going to sum it up as that. Number 1 ranked welterweight Josh Fleck is going to fight number 2 ranked middleweight Mano Lemaire. And they're meeting at 175. So these are two guys that are at the top of their weight classes who are looking to extend out and find tough competition still. Mano, we had a chance to talk to him. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. It was the first time I had a chance to talk to him, and he explained to us, this has been a plan for a while. looking at going down to 170, and he wants to test himself against Josh. And Josh is eager for this fight as well. I feel like both guys are at their top form right now. Both guys are ready, I feel like, to make that professional leap whenever they're prepared for it. And I'm excited to see how they use this opportunity before they make that jump.
God damn it, I'm in. But I agree with you, dude. You said it all. that was fucking perfect.
I appreciate that. I think my passion for that fight really came through. I feel like I was hovering above myself, watching myself give that explanation of the fight right there.
Why don't you just shut the fuck up and continue to the next fight? Dude, don't make me fucking punch you right now.
You literally can't. We're 1,000 miles apart. And two, I'd gladly go to the next fight because the next fight is the main event of the amateur portion. And this is one that I haven't been able to hide my excitement on since the day it was announced. And that's Nick Kazi going against Jordan Clark. These guys are two.
Can I hold on. I think I was on a little bit of a delay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
You see that, right?
Yeah.
All right. Continue.
Jordan Clark and Nick Kazi. I mean, these are two alpha males, to sum it up at the very least. Both guys, when you look at them, they look like fighters. They have the build for it. They have the structure for it. And both guys have shown it in their fights. Jordan, obviously, when we talking to him, he had the skip up in his first fight, but since then has turned it around to another level. 4 straight wins, pure FC champion, and he's going against a guy, Nick Kazi, who has been competing in boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu since he was a teen. Don't let that 1-0 record fool you. I tried to make this very clear when we posted the interview. This guy is as game as it comes. He's looking for a scrap. Jordan's looking for a scrap. This is my last opportunity to say this. So in my head, this is one of those old school Western brawls where they're just rolling around and there's clouds of dust flying up, and I expect nothing less for this fight.
This is one of the fight. I mean, this is the main event of the amateur portion for a reason, and I'm so excited for this fight because we've talked with Nick Kazi plenty of times before, or I guess twice before, and we know about his stand-up background. We know about the TBAs. We know about his amateur boxing experience. We know about his high school wrestling experience as well, and we know after we talked with Jordan, we know about his wrestling experience and we know about his MMA experience, which is a little bit more in depth than Nick's right now. But I also kind of feel like he's being pretty deceptive with how developed his striking is, whether he feels comfortable enough to show it off just yet. And if Nick is the guy to make him finally be able to not get the takedown and have and bang, or have to start exchanging strikes strategically and all that, and develop against a guy who's going to be throwing kicks at you and all that. If Nick's going to be the guy to try to bring that out of him, I mean, I'm excited to see if Nick is, because I do feel like Jordan's been pretty deceptive in his game with how developed his striking is, and we know exactly how good Nick's striking is. And oh man, and it's I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be excited to see how good his takedown defense is as well, because that's always gonna play a factor when you have a guy who's has a athlete. So, oh man, this is a fight that the fans should fight for, and I'm super excited for it.
Oh man, they should be. This fight is really exciting. The whole amateur card's exciting, and can't stress enough the importance of getting to Mystic Lake tomorrow night, Friday, February 21st, to support these amateurs. The amateur fights, the only way you're going to see them is live and in person, and the amateurs want to hear you screaming. So be sure to be there early, get in your seat, and support these fighters. They've trained very hard for this moment, and they're ready to perform. Before we wrap it up, Damien, you want to send us out?
Like this video, Subscribe to Trash Talk with Damien and TJ. Fuck you, TJ. Don't be a hoe.